was halfway home, one hand on the steering wheel, the other gripping a half-empty coffee cup, when I saw those red and blue lights flash behind me. First, I thought it was a mistake. Maybe they wanted to pass. Maybe someone else had done something wrong. But when the siren gave that sharp 2-second cry, I knew it was me. I glanced at the speedometer. 75 in a 55 zone. My stomach dropped. Great. Just what I needed after a 12-hour workday. I pulled over, rolled down the window, and turned off the radio. The silence inside the car felt heavy, like it was judging me. A minute later, I saw her in the side mirror. Steady stride, calm expression, her flashlight reflecting off the window. "Good evening, sir," she said. Her voice was firm but not cold. "License and registration, please." I handed them over, rubbing the side of my temple. I know. I was over the limit. Long day. I wasn't thinking." She looked at the radar in her hand. 76, she said. "That's more than a little." I gave a weak smile. I run a construction company. Deadlines everywhere. I guess my foot forgot what patience feels like. For a second, her eyes softened, but only a little. "Long days don't make the roads safer, Mr. Cole," she said, before walking back to her patrol car. I sighed, staring at my reflection in the rearview mirror. My face looked tired, gray eyes, stubble I hadn't shaved in days, and that silver ring still on my hand. The one I never took off even though my wife had left 2 years ago. When she came back, she handed me the ticket. "Court dates on the back. Try to slow down next time." I nodded, ready to end it there. But she didn't move right away. Her eyes dropped to the ring. "You married?" she asked. "Divorced," I said quietly. Guess I just got used to it being there. For the first time, she smiled, small, real, the kind that reaches the eyes. "Well," she said, "if you weren't wearing that ring, I might have added my number too." I blinked, caught off guard. She slipped her pen back into her pocket and turned away before I could even react. I watched her walk back to the cruiser. The way her ponytail brushed her jacket, the steady confidence in her stride. Just before she got in, she looked back once, just a quick glance, and then she was gone. For a while, I just sat there, staring at the ticket in my hand. The streetlights reflected off the ink. My chest felt lighter than it had in a long time. That night, I left the ticket on the kitchen counter. I poured a drink, sat in the dark, and stared at it while the ice melted. I didn't know her name, but that brief smile, it kept replaying in my head. 2 weeks later, I still couldn't shake it. Work was the same. Long hours, short tempers. I'd come home, drop my keys on the counter beside that folded ticket, and think about that moment on the roadside. Then one morning, I stopped by a small coffee shop near the construction site. It was busy, mostly cops and city workers grabbing breakfast. And that's when I saw her. She was sitting by the window in a gray sweater and jeans. No uniform this time. Her hair was tied back loosely, and her face looked softer, calmer. For a moment I hesitated. Then I heard my own voice before I could stop it. "Officer," I said, half smiling. "I swear I wasn't speeding this time." She looked up, startled at first. Then that same half-smile appeared. "That's a relief," she said. "I didn't bring my ticket book today." I gestured to the empty seat across from her. "Mind if I join?" "Go ahead," she said, stirring her coffee. I sat down. You gave me that fine, but somehow, it made me think about life more than traffic laws." She chuckled softly. "That's a first." I grinned. That ring comment, it caught me off guard. I hadn't really thought about it since the divorce. "You kind of reminded me I'm still allowed to talk to people again." Her expression softened. "I shouldn't have said that. It was unprofessional." "Maybe," I said, "but it was human." There was a brief silence, comfortable, not awkward. She stirred her cup again and finally said, "Rosa. My name's Rosa Martinez." "Brian Cole," I replied. She smiled knowingly. "Yeah, I remember. We talked for nearly an hour. About her work. About mine. About how she'd been on the force for 8 years, and how people either feared her or flirted with her." I told her about my construction firm, the stress, and the quiet house that always felt too big for one person. You live alone? She asked. Yeah. Divorced 2 years ago. My ex moved to Seattle. I kept the house. She took the cat. Rosa laughed softly. I get it. My ex said I loved my job more than him. Guess he wasn't entirely wrong. We smiled. Two strangers, both learning how to start over. When she glanced at her watch, she sighed. Shift starts in 15. I should thank you, I said, standing up. You gave me a ticket, but somehow it brought me luck. She shook her head. That's one way to look at it. As she walked out, she said, Drive safe, Mr. Cole. Only if you promise to keep watching, I said. She turned back, smirking. Maybe I already am. That night I couldn't stop smiling. The next few days something shifted. I woke up earlier. I shaved. I even started cooking again. I didn't expect to see her again so soon. But fate apparently had other plans. It was around midnight 2 weeks later. I'd fallen asleep on the couch when someone knocked on my door. Mr. Cole? A man's voice said. There's been a minor accident. I stepped outside. My car's rear bumper was dented. Nothing serious. Then I heard that voice again. See? It's not that bad, she said from behind the patrol car. Rosa. Even under the dim streetlight, I recognized her immediately. I laughed. You again. Guess I have a habit of running into the same people twice, she said, smiling faintly. She filled out the report, asking me the usual questions. Any injuries? Insurance? Damage inside the vehicle? I'm fine, I said. Just tired. You caught me between dreams. She smiled. At least you're not the one in handcuffs tonight. Not yet, I teased. She looked up from her notepad. You always joke when you're stressed? Pretty much. Keeps me sane. Her eyes softened again. Not a bad coping skill. When the other officer went to talk to the driver, Rosa walked back toward her car. But she stopped halfway, turned, and said quietly, Maybe the universe just thinks you need supervision. Or maybe, I said, it thinks I need coffee. That made her laugh. Careful what you wish for, Brian. Her radio crackled. A call came in. She sighed. Duty calls. As she turned to leave, she added, Don't worry about the car. It's just a dent. Yeah, I said. Just a dent. A few minutes later, her cruiser pulled away, red and blue fading into the night. I was about to head inside when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I opened it. Next time, coffee's on me. I stared at the message for a long moment, then smiled, really smiled, for the first time in months. By Saturday, I was sitting at a small cafe by the harbor, palms sweating like a teenager's. She walked in wearing a white blouse and dark jeans. Her hair was loose this time, and the whole place seemed to quiet down when she smiled. Hey, Officer Martinez, I said, standing up awkwardly. She laughed. Just Rosa today. We sat, ordered coffee, and started talking. At first, it was light, funny work stories, annoying drivers, construction deadlines. Then she asked quietly, You mentioned your divorce hit hard. What happened? I hesitated. We grew apart. I worked too much. She needed someone present, and I wasn't. Rosa nodded slowly. My ex said something similar. Told me I brought the uniform home. That I didn't know how to turn it off. We both looked out the window. The honesty hung between us, gentle and real. After a while, she said softly, That night I stopped you. I wasn't myself. I was tired, burned out. I didn't expect to joke with anyone. I'm glad you did, I said. Her cheeks flushed slightly. You're hard to read, you know? Maybe I'm still figuring myself out, I replied. But I know one thing. I feel calmer around you. She smiled. That's a nice thing to hear. We stayed there for hours talking about little things, music, favorite food, dreams. She told me she loved the mountains. I told her I'd bought a cabin I never finished renovating. When she finally said she had to go, I said, Dinner next time. My treat. She smiled. It's a date. 3 months passed like that. Slow, real, steady. We texted in the mornings, talked at night, and met whenever we could. She made me laugh. I made her relax. One Friday, I told her to meet me at a diner. Same intersection where she first pulled me over. When she arrived, tired from her shift, I slid a small white envelope toward her. "Before you say anything, it's not a ticket," I said. She laughed. "Then what is it?" "Open it." Inside was a photocopy of that first ticket. I had crossed out the details and written, "Fine for stealing my attention. Payment. One dinner every Friday." She looked up, smiling wide. "You kept the original?" "Framed it," I said. "Didn't mind paying that fine." Her laughter was quiet but genuine. "You've changed, Brian." "You helped," I said. She reached across the table, her hand brushing mine. "I guess we both did." After dinner, we stepped outside. The night air was cool, the sky clear. "You chose this place on purpose, didn't you?" she asked. "Maybe," I said. "Thought it'd be poetic to end where it started." She smiled softly. "You're impossible. Persistent," I corrected. She stepped closer. "The night I stopped you," she said quietly, "I almost quit the force. I thought I'd lost my sense of purpose. Then you showed up, tired and human, and somehow made me laugh. It reminded me why I do what I do." I reached for her hand. "And you reminded me that life doesn't end just because love once did." Her eyes shimmered. "Guess we both needed a ticket that night." We stood there in silence. Then I leaned in and kissed her, slow, certain, real. When we pulled apart, she smiled. "You know this means I can't ever pull you over again." "I'll risk it," I said. She laughed, resting her head on my shoulder. A few weeks later, we drove up to the mountains. The cabin was half finished, but she grabbed a paintbrush anyway. We spent the weekend fixing walls, cooking badly, and laughing until our stomachs hurt. By Sunday evening, the place looked a little less broken, and so did I. As the sun dipped behind the ridge, she took my hand and said softly, "You know, this isn't the kind of story people believe." I smiled. "That's fine. It wasn't meant to be perfect, just real." She squeezed my hand. "Real is enough." And it was. The woman who once gave me a ticket was now standing beside me, talking about planting flowers by spring. Sometimes life doesn't give you signs, it gives you people. You just have to slow down long enough to notice them.